Throughout history, archaeologists have uncovered artifacts that challenge everything we know about ancient civilizations. Mysterious objects out of place, beyond their time, and seemingly impossible to explain. Were they the work of forgotten cultures, evidence of lost technology, or something even stranger? Today, we dive into the top 5 ancient artifacts that have left experts baffled. Piri Reis map. The man behind this enigmatic map was Piri Reis, an Ottoman admiral, geographer, and cartographer. Born in the late 15th century, he sailed the Mediterranean, collecting knowledge from various sources, including sailors, traders, and older maps. But he wasn't just any map maker, he was obsessed with accuracy. In 1521, he compiled his famous Kitab-i-Bari, or Book of Navigation, an extensive maritime guide. However, his most famous work remains the 1513 map that carries his name. For centuries, the Piri Reis map was lost to history until 1929, when a group of historians stumbled upon it in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. This parchment, drawn on gazelle skin, was only a fragment of what was once a much larger world map. But even in its incomplete state, it has captivated researchers ever since. At first glance, the Piri Reis map looks like an advanced representation of the known world in the early 1500s. It accurately depicts parts of Europe, Africa, and South America, far better than many maps of the time. But here's where things get weird. There's a landmass at the bottom of the map that looks suspiciously like Antarctica. However, Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820. Over 300 years later, some researchers claim that the landmass on the Piri Reis map resembles Antarctica without its ice cover, suggesting an ancient source for this knowledge. The idea that someone could have mapped Antarctica before it was even discovered, let alone before modern satellite technology, seems impossible. Piri Reis himself provides a clue. In the inscriptions on his map, he claims to have based it on older maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. It's also believed that he used Christopher Columbus's lost maps, as well as Arab and Chinese sources. But here's the kicker. Some of these older maps may have originated from civilizations with knowledge far beyond their time. Of course, the mystery of the Piri Reis map has fueled wild speculation. Some believe it's proof that an advanced ancient civilization, or even extraterrestrials, mapped the Earth long before recorded history. Others suggest that sailors in antiquity had far more advanced navigational tools than we give them credit for. Modern scholars have analyzed the Piri Reis map using mathematical projections and historical comparisons. Some suggest that what appears to be Antarctica is actually a distorted continuation of South America, influenced by cartographic errors common at the time. Others argue that the resemblance to an ice-free Antarctica is just a coincidence. But even if we strip away the conspiracy theories, one thing is certain. The map is incredibly detailed and ahead of its time. The Antikythera mechanism. The story begins in 1900, when sponge divers searching for treasure accidentally stumbled upon an ancient Roman-era shipwreck near Antikythera. The wreck was filled with priceless artifacts, statues, pottery, jewelry. But one discovery stood out. A small, heavily corroded mass of gears and dials, almost unrecognizable due to centuries underwater. Initially dismissed as nothing more than a lump of rusted metal, the significance of this artifact wouldn't be realized until much later. In the 1950s, British science historian Derek de Solla Price studied it closely and declared it to be a form of analog computer, capable of predicting astronomical movements with remarkable precision. The Antikythera mechanism was designed to track celestial events with an accuracy that wouldn't be replicated for over 1,000 years. It consisted of over 30 interlocking bronze gears, housed in a wooden box with inscriptions that provided instructions on how to use it. At its core, the mechanism was an astronomical calculator. By turning a hand crank, the user could predict eclipses, track the movements of the sun and moon, and even follow the positions of the planets known to the ancient Greeks: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It also had a calendar system showing the cycles of the Olympic Games, a crucial event in Greek society. The precision engineering of the gears suggests a deep understanding of mathematics, physics, and mechanics. So who built the Antikythera mechanism? One theory links it to the great Greek mathematician Archimedes, who lived in the 3rd century BCE. He was known for his groundbreaking work in engineering and mechanics. Another possibility is that it was crafted by a workshop of skilled Greek engineers, possibly in Rhodes, a known center for astronomy and mechanics. The Baghdad Battery. The story of the Baghdad Battery begins in 1938 when an archaeologist named Wilhelm Koenig discovered a peculiar object near modern-day Baghdad, Iraq. The artifact consisted of a clay jar about 5 inches tall, containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod. The design was oddly reminiscent of something familiar to modern scientists, a simple galvanic cell, better known as a battery. The copper cylinder acts as the positive electrode, the iron rod as the negative, and if an acidic or alkaline liquid like vinegar or lemon juice was added, an electrical charge could be generated. Modern experiments have proven that this setup can indeed produce a small voltage, about 0.5 to 1 volt per jar. But was it really used as a power source in ancient times? That's where the debate begins. One of the most popular theories is that the Baghdad battery was used for electroplating, applying a thin layer of gold or silver onto other metals. This would have been revolutionary for artisans of the time. However, there is no direct evidence of electroplated artifacts from that era. Another theory suggests it could have been used for medical or religious purposes, perhaps to create a slight tingling sensation during rituals. But some scholars argue that the jar and its components were never meant to be a battery at all. They could have simply been used for storage or even as part of a scroll holder. While it's fun to imagine ancient Mesopotamians discovering electricity, most historians and scientists remain skeptical. There is no written record of batteries being used in the ancient world, and if these jars were truly meant to generate electricity, why have so few been found? Additionally, the voltage they produce is extremely weak, making it unlikely that they had any practical use beyond a simple curiosity. Modern archaeologists lean towards the idea that the Baghdad battery was never meant to be a power source at all. The London Hammer. The story begins in 1936 when Max and Emma Hahn, a couple from Texas, were taking a leisurely stroll near the small town of London, Texas. As they walked, something unusual caught their eye: a strange rock with a wooden handle protruding from it. Curious, they took the object home and later broke it open. Inside, they found an iron hammer, completely encased in rock. But here's where it gets really weird. Geologists claim that the rock surrounding the hammer could be over 100 million years old. How is that possible? Could humans have existed at the same time as dinosaurs? The rock surrounding the hammer appears to be composed of materials that, under normal circumstances, take millions of years to form. However, scientists argue that certain natural processes, such as mineral concretion, can create the illusion of ancient rock formation over a much shorter period. So, is it possible that the hammer is actually a 19th century tool that simply got encased in minerals over time? Further analysis of the hammer's materials adds to the intrigue. The iron head of the hammer is made of 96% iron, with a purity level rarely seen in modern metalwork. It also shows no signs of rusting, which some claim is evidence of an advanced, ancient metallurgical process. But skeptics argue that this could be the result of a simple blacksmithing technique used in the 1800s. Of course, no great mystery is complete without its share of wild theories. Some believe that the London Hammer is evidence of an ancient civilization with advanced technology, one that existed long before our history books suggest. Others go even further, claiming it could be proof of time travel or even extraterrestrial intervention. After all, how could such an advanced tool be found in rock supposedly millions of years old? While these theories make for fantastic storytelling, they lack solid scientific evidence. The Voynich manuscript. The story begins in 1912 when a rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich purchased an unusual manuscript from an old Jesuit library in Italy. The book, dating back to the early 15th century, was written in an unknown language and filled with hundreds of peculiar illustrations. Voynich believed he had uncovered an ancient treasure, one that could hold secrets lost to time. The Voynich manuscript is unlike any other book in existence. Its pages contain depictions of unidentifiable plants, naked women bathing in bizarre tubes, astronomical charts that don't match our known constellations, and pages upon pages of indecipherable text. If it was meant to be a medical or botanical guide, why do none of the plants resemble any species on Earth? If it's an encoded message, why has no one been able to crack the code after over a century of study? Many have tried to solve the Voynich manuscript's secrets. World War II codebreakers, including those who deciphered the Nazi Enigma machine, were baffled. Accomplished linguists and AI-driven algorithms have pored over its pages, yet the text refuses to yield its meaning. Some believe it's a lost language, others a complex cipher, but no one can say for sure. The structure of the text suggests a real language, with recurring words and grammatical patterns. But without a known reference, it remains one of history's greatest linguistic mysteries. What do you think? Are these artifacts proof of forgotten knowledge? Or is there a more logical explanation waiting to be discovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.